Hello students, welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture we are going to start with unit number 5, that is a baseband digital signaling, and the topic that we are going to discuss in today's lecture is amplitude shift keying. Course outcome of unit number 5 the course outcome number 5 is mapped with unit number 5, which states that analyze the impact and limitation of a bandpass modulation technique. The Bloom's taxonomy level for this particular CO is a 4, and the PO which are mapped is 1, 2, PSO1 and PSO2. Contains generation detection and the signal space representation of a ASK, generation detection signal space representation of a FSK. Same is for PSK, then for QPSK and offset QPSK, generation detection signal space representation of a QAM, generation detection signal space representation of MPSK and MFSK, and finally OFDM. So this all are the contents of unit number 5 that we are going to discuss in unit number 5. Now in today's lecture we'll start with the first bit, that is the generation detection and the signal space representation of a ASK. Now the learning objectives of today's lecture: difference between baseband and the bandpass modulation techniques, amplitude shift keying, we are going to discuss about its generation and detection, and then the signal space representation of a ASK. Now first, to start with the unit, one must know what is the difference between the baseband modulation and the bandpass modulation. Now in the previous unit we have discussed, or we have seen, what is a bandpass modulation. Now in this we are going to discuss about the baseband modulation. So what is the basic difference between these two modulation technique? In baseband modulation technique, the baseband modulation technique does not use modulator and a demodulator. Now the bandpass modulator is a technique where we are using a modulator and a demodulator. If you recall the block diagram of a PCM, DM, ADM, we have not used a modulator and a demodulator in any circuitry. So that is a baseband modulation technique. The baseband transmission is a transmission of an encoded signal using its own baseband frequency or without any shift or a higher frequencies. So in those cases we have not added any extra frequency or a higher range of frequency. But in case of a bandpass modulation or a passband modulation, we are going to add some frequency, or there is a shift in a frequency using a modulator. If the baseband signal is transmitted directly, then it is known as a baseband transmission. If modulated signal is transmitted over a channel, it is known as a bandpass transmission. It is preferred at a lower frequency, it is preferred at a higher frequency. So the example of a baseband modulations are PCM, DM, ADM. So we have already discussed about these three types of technique in unit number 4. And next is the bandpass modulation techniques, that is the ASK, FSK, BPSK and so on. And this we are going to discuss in this unit. So the block diagram of a bandpass modulation technique. So the basic block, or the most important block which is used in a bandpass modulation technique, is a modulator. So what we do in this case, we are having an input signal, that's a message signal, is applied to the signal transmission encoder, which will encode the signal and it will generate an encoded output, and that signal is given to the modulator. Now to the modulator, the input signal or the modulating signal is added with a carrier signal with a higher frequency, and that modulated signal we are going to transfer over a communication channel. And at the receiver end we are having a detector. Detector will detect the signal, it removes the noise, and then it will take off the carrier signal, and then it will give the signal to the decoder. Decoder will decode the signal, and we are getting the actual signal back. So this is a block diagram of a bandpass modulation technique. Now what is digital modulation? In digital modulation, an analog carrier signal is modulated by a discrete signal. Now this thing is very important. In case of a digital modulation, our carrier signal is again an analog signal, but our input signal is a discrete signal. Now S of t is a representation of a signal. S of t is equals to a sine 2 pi f into t plus 5. So this is a representation of a carrier. Now based on the changing in the amplitude, frequency or a phase in proportional with the binary data produce a digital modulated signal. So we are having three types of digital modulation techniques: amplitude shift keying, where there is a change in the amplitude A; frequency shift keying, where there is a change in a frequency; and a phase shift keying, to where we are going to change the phase of a carrier signal. Now let us discuss about each and every technique in a detail. So that is all about the digital modulation techniques. Then these three are the types of bandpass modulation: ASK, FSK and BPSK. The first is ASK. ASK stands for the amplitude shift king. Now ASK is a type of amplitude modulation which represents the binary data in a form of a variations in the amplitude of a signal. In ASK it requires two input signal. First input is a binary sequence and the second is a carrier. Here the most important point we need to always consider that the input, which is a carrier signal, has the more amplitude and the voltage range than the input binary sequence signal, and modulated signal has a high frequency carrier, and the binary signal when the ASK modulated gives a zero value for a lower input while it gives a carrier value at the output. And this is a block diagram of ASK. So this is your amplitude modulator. So where we are giving two signals. First one is a carrier, which is an higher value frequency signal, and second one is an information signal. That signal is in digital format, that is it is made up of ones and zero. These two signals are given to the modulator, and the modulator is nothing but the modulated signal. Now we are going to discuss about the modulated signal next. So next one is the equation. So first is the modulating signal. So the modulating signal in a digital signal is represented by D of t is a representation of an input signal which is represented as a 0 or a 1. As the signal is a digital, it is either 0 or a 1. Next, the carrier signal is represented by EC is equals to sine 2 pi FCT. So this is a representation of our carrier signal. Now the output of a modulator is a combination of your modulating, is a multiplication or a combination of a modulating signal or the input signal with the carrier, which is represented as VASK is equals to D of t, that's the input signal, into sine 2 pi FCT. Now if my input signal is equals to 0, what is going to be my output? 0 into anything comes out to be 0. And if my input signal is equals to 1, my output is represented as, for 1 it is represented as a carrier, that is a sine wave. So in this way our ASK works. If your input is 0, output is 0. If your input is 1, output is nothing but the carrier waveform. The waveform. So first is your digital information, which is a digital signal. So here the digital information is represented as 1011001010. Then we are having a carrier. Carrier is nothing but a sine wave. Okay. Now, according to the ASK modulation, if my input is 1, my output is the same as a carrier, so the carrier is transferred as it is. For second bit, your input is 0, so your output is 0 in that case. Next condition, your input is 1, this is again input is 1, so when your input is 1, we are transferring the carrier as it is, and so on. Again, your input is 0, so if your input is 0, modulated signal is going to be 0. And likewise we are getting the output. So this is nothing but the ASK modulated signal. So here my carrier is present and here the carrier is absent. So this will define the nature of a ASK, where the carrier is present and the carrier is absent only. ASK modulator. So this is a representation of a ASK modulator. So the ASK modulator is made up of a mixer signal or a modulator. To that we are applying two signal. First one is a unipolar binary sequence generator. So this will generate a signal which is binary in the nature, and the second one is a carrier signal generator, and these two signals are given to the output of a ASK signal. So the so the block diagram is made up of two things. First one is your carrier signal and the binary sequence from the message signal. Now the carrier signal sends the continuously high frequency carrier, and the binary sequence from the message signal makes the unipolar input to either high or to the low. The high signal closes the switch along the carrier switch, hence the output will be carrier signal at the higher input. When the input is low, the switch opens or the mixer signal output is going to be 0, and the output in that case is low. So this is a working of a ASK modulator. Next one is a ASK demodulator. Now demodulation is a process of reconstructing the original signal at the receiver level, and it is defined as whether the modulating signal receives from the channel at the receiver side by implementing a proper demodulated technique to reproduce the original input signal at the output stage of a receiver. So for receivers or demodulators, we are having two types of demodulator. First one is a coherent detection and second one is a non-coherent detection. Coherent detection means synchronous demodulation and non-coherent means asynchronous demodulation. Synchronous demodulation means the technique where your input, your transmitter and the receivers are in the synchronization, or they are having the same clock. Non-coherent detections means a technique where your transmitter and receivers are not in a sync and they don't share a common clock. The first one is a coherent ASK detection. So this is a block diagram of a coherent detection. So this is a multiplier or a modulator. So here your input signal, in this way the modulation this is a process where the carrier signals which we are using at the receiver stage, this one, is same or is in a phase with the carrier that we are using at the transmitter age. Now these two signals are applied at the multiplier. It means the carrier signal, the transmitter and receiver stages are at the same value, and this type of modulation is called as a synchronous ASK detections. Now these two signals are in a phase and that are applied to the multiplier. Multiplier will multiply these two signals and it will generate the output. Now that signal is given to the low pass filter and then to the sample and hold circuit, and finally we are having a comparator. What comparator will do? Comparator will compare the signal with the reference voltage level. So how it is going to do the reference voltage level? If your value is greater than the V reference, or the output of the sample and hold circuit is greater than the V reference, then it will generate the output as a 1, and if the value is less than the threshold value or the V reference, it will generate the output as a 0. So in this way it works. The receiver receives the same thing I have explained over here. This modulated waveform is affected by the noise, and to remove the noise we are using a multiply stage which help as a low pass filter, and then it is forwarded to the sample and hold circuit over here, and for converting it into the discrete form. Okay. Then the next type is a non-coherent ASK detection. So this is a block diagram of a non-coherent detection. So for non-coherent detection, the basic or the more important block is a square law detector. Square law detector is a device which will square the received signal, and its job is to recover the carrier signal back. Then the signal is given to the low pass filter which will remove the noise present in the received signal, and then to the comparator, and finally to the voltage limiter. Voltage limiter law is to limit the signal, and it will give you value as a 1 and 0. Now this demodulation process can be completed by using a square law device, and the output signal which is generated from the square law devices can be forwarded to the low pass filter to reconstruct the original binary signal back. Spectrum of ASK. So here I have shown the spectrum of a ASK. The first is the spectrum of an input signal. So this is your digital signal. So digital signal is nothing but our square signal. The spectrum of a square is nothing but a sinc function. So it was shown over here. Second one is a carrier. Now the first thing, what is frequency spectrum actually? The frequency spectrum is a representation of any signal with respect to the frequency. So the frequency spectrum or the spectral response of a square wave is a sinc function that was shown over here, with a bandwidth of a twice B. FB is the frequency of a 1 bit. So it is, FB is given by 1 by T. So here the T is a TB. TB is a time period for 1 bit time period. Now this is your carrier. So the frequency response of a carrier is a FC, as it is a frequency is FC. Now these two signals are multiplied, and that will generate a ASK output. So in ASK, as these two signals are multiplied, the frequency response is nothing but the sinc function shifted to the FC, means the 0 or the center in the here is 0, which is shifted to the FC, and the bandwidth in this case is a twice FB. So this is a frequency response of a ASK. Bandwidth of a ASK. So what is a bandwidth basically? Bandwidth is a range of frequency within a given band in particular signal that used for transmitting the signal. So for finding bandwidth of a ASK, we have just concentrating upon the final frequency spectrum of a ASK. This is a frequency spectrum of a ASK with a center frequency at a FC. So the bandwidth in this case is a twice FB. So this particular value indicates the bandwidth of a FB. Bandwidth is equals to 1 plus R by FB. This is second notation of a FB, where R is a factor related to the filter characteristics. R lies in between zeros and 1, and the maximum value of R is 1. Therefore the maximum bandwidth is given as a twice FB. Then the signal space representation of a ASK. Now the ASK signal is represented as VSK dt sine 2 pi FCT. Now if dt is equals to 0, your output is going to be 0. If dt is equals to 1, your output is going to be A sine 2 pi FCT. Now here I have written this A. A indicates the amplitude of the signal. Now the power, we know the power is nothing but V square by 2, where the amplitude in this case is A, which is equals to E by TB, where E is the energy per bit and TB is a time period of a 1 bit. So power is given by E by T. This notation is very important. So I can write A as under root of twice E by TB. Now if dt is equals to 0, my VASK is equals to S of t. I have represented it by S of t is equals to 0. And if dt is equals to 1, my amplitude of a ASK signal is equals to S of t. So where your amplitude is replaced by under root of twice E divided by TB. So this is a notation for the amplitude which we have derived from the relation of a power and the energy. These two equations are very important for finding the signal space representation. Clearly there are one basis function of the unit energy. Therefore phi of t is equals to under root of 2t p sine 2 pi fct is a representation of the signal. Then s of t is equals to 0 for first condition, and s of t is equals to under root of e phi 1t. Now this phi 1t represents the energy unit of the signal, and the average energy per bit is given as E is equals to EB is equals to per bit E plus 0. Now E is the energy where the signal is high. When the signal is 0, your energy going to be 0, so it is divided by 2. So therefore the energy of the complete signal E is given by twice EB, where EB is the energy of a per bit. Now the binary ASK system is therefore characterized by having a signal space that is a one-dimensional value, and where s of t is equals to 0 and s of t is either 0 and the second value of s of t is equals to under root of twice EB phi 1 of t. So this is a space spectrum representation of a ASK signal, where your axis indicates phi 1 of t, and on that we are having two values. First one is 0 and the second value is under root of twice EB. So this is a space signal representation of ASK, and from this we are finding out the Euclidean distance. So we are using the same diagram. The Euclidean distance is the minimum distance between the signal point is called as a Euclidean distance. So here D12 is the distance between S1 and S2. So the distance between S1 to value is 0. So the distance between these two values is going to be under root of twice EB, where EB is energy of a per bit, energy per unit bit. Okay. Advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of ASK is ASK transmitter and receivers are simple to design. ASK needs less bandwidth than FSK. Disadvantages. ASK transmission can be easily corrupted by noise. Application of ASK is low frequency RF applications, home automation devices, industrial network devices, wireless baseband stations. So these all are the applications of using ASK. Thank you for listening to my video. Thank you.